digit is going to be 30%. The second digit is going to be 17%, and also on. And the ninth digit is going to be around 4.5%. So basically, Benford Law states that instead of naturally occurring numbers, the frequency of occurrence of the first digits of the numbers will occur as shown in this table. And this is from Benford, 1938. This guy was incredible. So let me show you the formula. So the formula is just very simple. It's just, let me just put it right here. So the formula is just very simple. You have the probability of D equals 2 log of, and then you have parentheses, D plus 1 over D. Now the value of D can only be 1 through 9. So you can only put like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And when you do that, that's how you get that proportion. So let me show you here. If you want to do, let's say that you put D equals 1, which is digit equals 1. So basically, look what happens. You put 1 plus 1 over 1, then you have log of 2 over 1, then you do your math, and then that's how you find out, that's how you get the Benford Law's proportions. Okay, so let's talk about Benford Law and why it's so important. The main reason this law is now being it has been heavily used, I guess, after it was discovered by accountants, because they can detect fraud by just seeing someone, let's say that you have like a bunch of tax records, and then you sit down and you start looking like at the first digit of, let's say, total gross income. I'm putting an example. Then you're going to start seeing that Benford's Law is going, is going to follow exactly what we said, right? Number one is going to show more than the other ones. But if you manipulate the data, then Benford's Law is going to be disrupted. So it's not going to be like a really nice curve. And that's when you can say, oh, wow, someone damaged or manipulated the data. And this is big because they were able to, Enron, which, Enron is an American corporation that basically defrauded, a lot of people. And they were one of the biggest planned accounting fraud. And when other auditors were checking the data, they were able to use Benford Law to prove that what Enron was doing was manipulating the data. And when you manipulated the data, let's say that, what happened with Enron was that they will lie, they will inflate their numbers. So their shareholders were okay, not to panic. But unfortunately, all this data was fake. So accountants are able to use Benford Law to detect fraud, which I thought it was super cool. I went ahead and I researched papers or case studies, and there's so much on Benford Law and accounting that I felt that, we need to talk more about Benford Laws in general. Now, what happens with, so the thing about Benford Law is that it's also being used for the FBI, and Benford Laws this is pretty interesting. And I got this information from Netflix, which is a show called Connected. And the episode is called Digits. So from that episode, I got this data. Basically, the enforcement agencies across the United States were able to grab all these FBI online stats, and they saw that, even like breaking the law follows Benford Law. Now, cancer rates does, infection disease cases, the interval between your heartbeats. It's just crazy how many things you can apply Benford Law. It's just, they use also Benford Law for, election fraud. So they were, I think, in the show, the guy talks about the 2000, Bush versus Al Gore election, and he goes over, the data. and they show how you can use Benford Law to